Hello everyone, it's Barbara, and today I want to talk to you about tarot cards and oracle cards. They are two very different types of communication devices that we can use to speak with our spirit guides. Um, there are some people that are afraid of these cards, and there's nothing to be afraid of because they're just pieces of paper. And the power that they have is the power that you give them. So if you are in communication with your spirit guides, and you agree with your spirit guides that you're going to use this as a communication tool, then that's what it is. If you believe these have some other kind of power, then that's the power that you're giving them. So be very careful on the kind of power that you give physical items, because that power does come from you. Okay? There's no other power inherent in these. They're pieces of paper. So having said that, I want to talk about the differences between tarot and oracle cards. So let's start with oracle cards. Oracle cards can have any kind of theme. So they can be about angels, they can be about animals, they can be just the affirmation of the day, but they can have any kind of theme. The deck that I have in my hands right now is the Animal Medicine cards by Jamie Sams. And basically, if you look, it has a picture of an animal and a number, that's the card number, and then the name of the animal. So this is Butterfly, which is card number 9. And oracle decks usually have a book that goes with them that explains. Now, some don't because they might have the words on the card, like affirmation cards. And those, you want to just pick like one a day. Hey, what kind of a day am I going to have, spirit guides? Help me out. And it will give you an affirmation. These tend to have more information. So this deck actually comes with a hardcover book with a couple pages on each animal. And it gives messages from the animal. So to use these properly, what you would do is first you would meditate or come into contact with your spirit guides. So, thank you to my spirit guides, ascended masters, angels and archangels that work with the light. Thank you for picking me a card that will help me in my journey today, or that will help me in my path for the future, or whatever it is you're asking. And then you can get that card whatever way feels right to you. So you might fan them out and one looks brighter, or I just know I'm supposed to pick this one. Or you can shuffle and cut the cards. Some people shuffle until a card pops out. Whatever works for you is the right way. The way I do it personally is I talk to my spirit guides and I fan them out, and one looks brighter. It kind of looks neon to me. I can't explain it. So then that's the card. And it's interesting because the one I just picked right now is the deer. And I do have a deer as a spirit animal guide. And the deer is all about being gentle, whether it's with yourself or with other people. So today, my guides, because I was talking to them while I was talking out loud, they're like, hey, be gentle with the people that are watching this video. So there's my message for today. Also, it's card number 4, and I'm big into numerology, and a 4 is a very solid foundation. If you think about a house, 4 corners, you can think about the 4 directions, the 4 major archangels. So 4 is a very powerful, solid foundation. All right, so that's my card for the day. So oracle cards, they have no basic structure other than there's cards. There can be any number of oracle cards. There can be 20, there can be 40, there can be 85. There's no rule for that. They can be any theme. So really with oracle cards, there's no real rules. And for people who don't like rules, yeah, these are fun. So that's oracle cards in a nutshell. Now, tarot cards have a much longer history. They've been around forever. Okay, maybe just, many, many, many centuries. And they have rules. So there are different subsets in the tarot deck. For example, the major arcana, those are the major cards that come from the universe, let's say. So there's 22 of those. They actually go from 0 to 21. And they are very powerful cards. So when you receive a major arcana card from the universe, you need to pay attention. If that card comes with a lesser card, shall we say, it gives more power or amplifies that other card. It means pay attention. Spirit's talking to you. The universe is talking to you. So the 22 major arcana, then there's minor arcana, including there's court cards. So if you think about a regular deck of cards, the Jack, Queen, King, the tarot deck has that as well. And then it also has the Ace through 10. It's interesting because there's people in this community here. This is it's a very small Midwestern community, and they're scared of tarot cards, but they'll go play poker. The regular playing card deck is based on the tarot deck. So I'm just saying. And it's just paper. So you have different sections, different categories of the tarot deck, but you always have 78 cards. Tarot has rules. You have Ace through 10, you have 4 suits, you have the major arcana, which is always 22 cards, and then you have the court cards. Now, having said that, there can be different themes. So sometimes those court cards are very masculine. Sometimes they're very feminine. Sometimes there's princesses. Sometimes there's pages. So there is a little bit of leeway in there, but they're always the same number of cards and the same type of card, which is very nice because if you pick up any tarot deck and you pick up a specific card, that card is going to be similar in another deck, even though it has a different theme. So, for example, this one's very animal oriented, and I just realized that I chose the animal medicine deck for the oracles, and I picked this deck, which is Spirit Song Tarot. They're both animal related, so apparently I or you'd have a need for some animal information. So regardless of what the theme is, whether it's angels or Alice in Wonderland or Rider-Waite, which is the standard tarot deck, or something with animals, if I choose a card, that card is the same type or template. With oracle cards, it can be anything because there's no rules. So this is an excellent way to communicate with your spirit guides. So if you go to a tarot reader and they are just shuffling cards and laying down cards and they're not talking to anyone, what are you getting? You're just getting cards. You need to know what the person, the reader's intention is. You need to know that they have integrity. So I've had people come into my shop and say, well, I had a tarot reading today or last week. I went to an expo and I had a tarot reading, etc., etc. And I really didn't like it. I didn't like the person's energy. You need to resonate with the reader's energy. If you don't feel super comfortable with them, don't get a reading. Now, another thing too is a reader can put their flavor on your reading. For example, if you go to a woman and she is in the middle of a horrible divorce and her emotions are all over the place, and she's angry at men, and she can't be objective, do you want a reading about your love life from that person? I wouldn't. I need to know that the person that's going to do my reading resonates with me, their energy resonates with me, they're in a fairly good place, and they're objective. We don't want somebody else's flavor on our reading. We want objectivity. We also want to know that they are talking with their spirit guides, that they're not just flipping cards. If they're just flipping cards, you can go to anybody on the street and have them flip cards for you. But we want someone who is in tune with their spirit guides, who's in tune with your spirit guides as well, who's in tune with spirit, with angels, archangels, higher dimensional beings. Because that's where the information needs to come from. We don't need the information to come from 3D. That's just flipping cards. Make sure when you choose somebody to do a reading for you that you resonate with them, that they're working with the light, and that they don't have their flavor on there. And also that you feel uplifted. No matter what kind of cards come out, no matter what kind of reading, you should feel uplifted in some way or another. Even if the cards are like, hey, there's some big stuff coming down the road for you, you should feel confident, like, hey, I got the Tower, change is coming, but I got this. I know I can handle this because this is what the other cards said. And because the person that gave me the reading helped me with my confidence. So when I do readings for people, I've had to share some information with them that, hey, there's this bad stuff coming up, but you've got this. And this is why we do what we do and why we're here to support each other. Because we are very powerful in ourselves. And we need to not listen to the mainstream media. We need to not listen to TV shows and commercials and radio commercials, because those are all meant to take your frequency down and undermine your confidence. Because then you'll buy their product, right? So don't listen to them. Know that you are very powerful. You are very loved by people in this reality and other realities, and that you can handle everything that is coming for you. So getting back to the reader, choose your reader very carefully, because you're sharing your energy with them and they're sharing their energy with you. So if you go to one of these expos or conferences and there's all these readers, walk around, see which one or ones you feel drawn to. Like, oh, I really want to go sit next to that person. I don't know why, but I really want to be near that person. If you feel drawn like that, then that's spirit communicating with you. That's your spirit guides communicating with you that, hey, that person has a message for you. But if you walk by somebody and you're like, oh, I want a reading, but I don't know. That means no, don't do it. Don't just share your energy with everybody, and don't allow them into your sacred space, because this is a very sacred energy exchange. So when you go to one of these expos or you just go into a shop, make sure you resonate with the reader. If you haven't met the person, but you made an appointment, and you get to that appointment and you're going, I don't know. It's okay to back out. It totally is. If at the last minute you need to back out, you just say that. Because if they are a person living with integrity, they will understand. If they don't understand, maybe their energy is not totally working with integrity, working with spirit. Okay, so tarot cards, they have structure. The oracle cards have no structure, but they're a lot more fun. Let's do them up, right side up. Squirrel. Ah! This is for all my squirrel people. If you have any questions about tarot or about oracle cards, you can always ask. I have people come into my shop all the time and ask me questions about everything, which is why I'm making these videos. So for those of you who can't come into my shop, you have access to some information from me anyway. There's tons of information out on the internet, but not all of it is true. So please keep that in mind. Use discernment. Think from your heart. Think from your heart. Use discernment. And if it doesn't feel right to you, don't do it. We have lots of tarot decks and oracle decks for sale in the shop here. And I'm always very willing to help you choose one, or even open one. Or I have a lot myself. So if you see one on the shelf, you can always say, hey, do you have this one? And can I see it? Yes, absolutely. Now, having said that, when you choose your deck, you want to make it your own. Whether that means getting a nice little velvet bag or putting crystals in with it. Yay, you. Some of my clients actually will sleep with their deck when they first get it so that they can connect and have maybe a dream that gives them answers. You can smudge your deck, because keep in mind, if it's in a shop, other people have touched it. Once you make it yours, don't let anybody else touch it. You don't need anybody else's energy on it. I allow people, well, most people, to touch my decks, but I also know how to cleanse it, and I do it immediately after they're done touching it. Now, having talked about purchasing decks, I want to talk about purchasing a deck from a thrift store or an antique store. If you do that, keep in mind, you are getting energies from people that you don't know. You don't know what the people's intentions were. So if you get a deck like that, smudge the heck out of it. I'm not kidding. So please, 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 smudge. Bless it. Have it blessed. Whatever you can do to cleanse that old energy off of there. Because you don't know what the people were using it for. If they were using it for anything less than with integrity, it could be. There are people that do that. So just be really careful. You're much better off purchasing a new deck. Let the people who know how to deal with those antique decks deal with them. Don't start out that way. Start out with something nice and clean. And you can always ask somebody for help that knows how to smudge, how to cleanse, etc. Asking for help is totally okay. In fact, ask your spirit guides, because they might send you to somebody that can help you. So, my video today, I think that's enough information. I'm trying to keep my videos somewhat short because I know there's a lot of information, and you can always listen to it again and again. I will do more videos on oracle cards and tarot, and to take you a little bit farther in, because this is an amazing way to communicate with your spirit guides and to give you information and help you on your path. And that's what we're all here for, is to help each other on our paths. Okay? So I hope you have a blessed day, and that this information helps you a little bit in your path. And have a wonderful rest of the day, and namaste. Thank you for joining me.